It's been a great camp so far. I think our players have done a great job. Our organization's done a great job. And, every team's going through difficult circumstances with the virus. And I think the way we're handling things is outstanding. Everybody's being a pro. Even the young players have bought into, what we're trying to do. And so it's been fun. It's been great to be out in the grass. Obviously, I missed coaching the guys on the grass. That's the most fun that I have with the players. And, the spring was okay. We had a lot of meetings and Zoom meetings and we got a lot accomplished, but there's nothing like being out on the grass coaching the guys.
Excellent. With that, we'll take it over to questions. Our first one's going to come from Nate Ulrich.
Okay.
Hey, Mike. Hey, good to see you. We know that special teams is often a crucial factor for a lot of the guys trying to make the roster. So I wonder, with no preseason games, how does that affect your evaluation of your guys and how they're doing on special teams?
Yeah, that's the question that, obviously we all worried about back in the spring, and we found out, excuse me, when there was going to be no preseason games. I knew my job was going to be a little bit more difficult in that regard. It's kind of twofold. Every special teams coordinator in the league this year has to A, try to evaluate all the young players, and B, get your guys ready to play week one. So it's kind of a double-edged sword type deal. So I tell our guys, look, you're going to be evaluated in all the drill work. You're going to be evaluated on all the show team looks that you give, all the show team reps. Have a great attitude. Go out there and continue to work hard. And if there's an injury or something happens to a veteran that doesn't maybe not performing well enough, then you'll have your opportunity. Other than that, the great thing that the league did this year is that there's going to be 16 players on the practice squad. So honestly, we'll have 53 plus 16. We got the 69 guys, and you never know. The way you can move guys up and down on the roster based off the new rules this year is gives more guys opportunities. But to answer your question, I think it is more difficult that way, and we're just doing the best we can.
We'll go to Mary Kay Cavett for our next question.
Hey, Coach, just wondering, how is Austin Seibert coming along this year, and just what are his prospects?
Austin had a great offseason. He would send me videos of all his kicks. He had his wife out there videotaping on their iPad at a high school field down in Texas. He had a couple of his buddies helping him out videotaping, and he would send me those videos, and then my kids would help me figure out how to look at them on the iPad because I had no idea. And then we would look at those together. We would do Zoom meetings, and we would do that a couple times a week. We did the same thing with Jamie, Charlie, the returners, some of the other core guys. So we had a lot of work that way. But I thought that Austin had a phenomenal offseason. He's stronger than he was a year ago. He's more consistent than he was a year ago. I think his prospects are huge, and we expect really good things from him this year.
Okay, thank you.
Sure.
And we'll go to Daryl Ryder.
Hey, Mike. JoJo Natson, you guys brought him in to help you out in the punt return game. When you look at him on the field, his size doesn't seem all that imposing, but man, he's really, really fast. Could you talk about him? And then also, how is Donovan Peoples-Jones coming along in the return game?
So JoJo, I'm very happy he's here. He has got exceptional quickness. He catches punts and kickoffs very, very well. And then I studied him and I knew a little bit about him from the last few years in the league, but you don't get as many reps and seeing him catch the ball and how he tracks the ball. And he's very, very good at that, which obviously it bodes well for him and for us. He's got his vision is good. We're working on some different things with him to help him be successful more downfield, but he's going to make that first guy miss more than not. And that's the exciting thing about him. And like I said, he catches the ball, tracks the ball well. So he's done a nice job both at punt and kickoff returner. And then Donovan, who had a lot of punt return experience, who looks like a kickoff returner because of how big and fast he is, he's done a nice job in both return phases as well. So we have really four guys. Those two guys and Dontrell Hilliard and Dearness Johnson are all competing for those two return spots.
Thank you, Daryl. We'll go to George Thomas.
Hey, Coach. Daryl kind of stole my thunder there. I was going to ask about JoJo, but you had effusive praise for him last year prior to you guys playing the Rams. And I'm just wondering, did they give you any input into signing him? Did they ask your opinion?
Oh, of course they did. Yeah. What I like about what Andrew does with he and his personnel department, Kevin does with the whole coaching staff, there's great communication. Obviously, I don't make those final decisions, but they do have we have the ability to give our input, which has been fantastic. And I really appreciate that because some organizations aren't like that. I've been a part of organizations that aren't really like that. So it's been a great relationship. And I guess I'm the old guy, one of the old guys on the staff now. I hope they would listen to me from time to time anyway.
What does he give you that was missing from last year's return game, do you think?
I don't blame only the returners. I think we didn't block particularly well most of the year on punt return. Kickoff return, we had some good plays. Punt return, we need to do a better job. We had a couple penalties where, we were obviously lower penalties than they were the year before, but we still got to be going in that direction. We have to keep trending in the direction of reducing penalties in both return phases. I think what he gives us that most teams don't have is that exceptional quickness right off the bat. He can make that first guy miss on punt return. He can make that quick set on kickoff return and punt return. He can do things that guys who are bigger than him or maybe even a little bit faster than him don't have the ability to do because he's got low center of gravity and great quickness.
Tony Grossi, you're up.
Okay, I won't belabor that point. My original question was about the returners, but I think it's been answered. So I'll go to Seibert, and you gave him a lot of opportunities into the dog pound Friday, whenever that was, Sunday.
Sunday, yep.
Is that the first time he's worked on it, obviously, at the stadium? And what do you think about correcting that kind of, is that a psychological problem or is it more than that?
He's already, the three specialists went down a week ago. So that's the second time they went down there. We had them go down during when we had a walkthrough in the afternoon. So we were allowed to do that. So they went down there and got a lot of work in punting, kicking, snapping. And he did most of his, I think he took maybe 36 field goals and 24 of those were in the dog pound end. So to me, it's kind of breaking that psychological barrier. I think he's fine. Like I said, he's stronger and more confident than he was a year ago. We had 3 over 50 field goals, one of which was a Mayday situation that he didn't hit, but the other kicks he had, he was still inside of 50. He was 12 for 12 the other day, and most of those were into the dog pound end. So I think he's getting more and more confidence. We're going to go again on Friday night down to the stadium, and we'll get some more kicks in again on that end. He's just got to, once he has success early, hopefully that'll be early and often, and that's what our goal is.
Jake Trotter, you have our next question.
Yeah, Mike, we were talking about returners and kickers. What about some of the other guys you have that maybe have impressed you that you feel like can really help you on special teams this year, and maybe guys that are fighting for a roster spot still at this point?
Sure. And I hate to mention like 1 or 2 guys because I don't want them to think that, that I'm not coaching all these guys. I mean, I really enjoy this rookie class. They've come in with a phenomenal attitude, whether we're drafted or undrafted. They're working hard. They understand the opportunities that they are limited compared to past years. They don't make excuses. They study. Typically, they don't make the same mistake more than once. I liked our draft picks. I liked some of the guys that we brought in, the 2 safeties, the college free agents, Moffitt and Benton. J.I. Solomon's done a nice job as a linebacker. Some of these young receivers have come in and done a nice job for us. And, I think across the board, our guys have done a nice job. The personnel department did a really good job with their homework and bringing in the right type of people, not only the type of guys that we think we need to win with attitude-wise and effort-wise, but also there's enough talent in that room that if they don't make the team initially, they put them on the practice squad and they had an opportunity to help us later down the road.
Dan Lobby.
Hey, Coach. Your punter, Jamie Gillen, what do you want to see from him in year 2?
Consistency. We all know he's got a big leg. We all know he can hit the 50-yard 5-0 punt, but he needs to follow a 50-yard 5-0 punt with a great +50 punt that we down at the 5. Then he comes back and hits another 50-5-0 punt outside the numbers. So I know no punter's perfect, and I get that, but he's got to be closer to being the consistent performer that we need him to be for our punt team to be the weapon that we can be because he is our punter. So is he improved? Yes, he's bigger and stronger, and he had a great offseason as well, kicking at some field with his dog chasing all the footballs. It's sometimes comical watching these videos these guys sent, but it was awesome because they worked extremely hard. You can tell, I'm sitting there timing his get-offs, I'm timing his hang times. His dad was snapping the ball, his sister was snapping the ball, whoever he could find, and it was great work this offseason, and he's kind of followed it up with a training camp that is getting better. He's not quite where we need him to be, but he's working extremely hard.
All right, we have time for one question from Mary Kay and one from Scott Petrick. Then we'll need to move on to our next person. Mary Kay.
Hey, Coach, I was just wondering, I'm thinking that you had one of those false positives and weren't able to go to practice that day. So I was just wondering, what kind of an experience that must have been for you, that how many ever hour period that you had there.
Yeah. So the maddest I was, I guess, was not that I possibly had it, but because I didn't do anything. I mean, I'm quarantined like everybody else. I go from here to my wife's out of town, so I just go to the hotel and back. So I haven't done anything. So I was surprised by that, but I was really mad I couldn't come in the building. I mean, we had practice that day. That 4 hours later, I knew I didn't have it when they came out and said it was a mistake. So for that 4 hour period, I'm calling my wife, Debbie, and we're trying to figure out, okay, what's the next step? If I do have this, does she come home and take care of me if I've got a quarantine in the house, or does she not want to be there? And, so we were looking at all the different options just in case I had it. And then 4 hours later, we found out, and then they wouldn't let me in the building. So I was going stir crazy. I ran the meeting that night. Doug ran practice and did a good job running the punt team practice that day. And I ran the meeting that night. And then the next morning, I was sitting in the parking lot waiting for my negative test to come back from the day before, the second test I had taken. So I was just going a little bit stir crazy, to be honest with you, because I couldn't be with our guys.
And last one, Scott Petrick.
Hey, Coach. You've obviously knew Kevin Stefanski before he became the head coach here, but with all the kind of craziness of the offseason, how do you think he's handled everything from coronavirus to virtual offseason program? And then you can even throw the social media or social justice on top of that.
I think Kevin's done a phenomenal job. I think he has shown the team and this organization and this whole area what a great leader he is. He's done a really nice job with understanding every situation. He's also a guy that's not an ego guy, that he's going to ask, guys like myself and Bill Callahan and Joe Woods and Alex Van Pelt and the other guys on our staff for our opinion. And I think we've done a nice job communicating with him and helping him through this. But quite honestly, he's done a great job leading this organization through all those different factors.